18 teams from across Duval County are ready to battle for academic achievement. Who will emerge victorious? Stay tuned. It's Brain Brawl, now in its 18th year of academic competition. Presented by the Duval County Public Schools, Dr. Donald S. Van Fleet, Interim Superintendent. Here is your host, Tom Welsh.
Welcome to the final round of competition between Mandarin and Episcopal. Let's meet the teams. First for Mandarin, we have Matt Shaver, Zach Vickery, team captain Josh Wills, and Brian Miklos. For Episcopal, Beth Thieser, Patrick Horton, the team captain is Ben Carter, and Doug Weinstein. Mandarin's team is coached by David Debs and Andy Scudder, and Episcopal's team is coached by Brenda Vermillion and Carol Daraskovich. Our supervisor of officials is Allie Browning. By now you know the rules, so let's go ahead and begin. Here's your first toss-up. Name the author whose novels the Europeans... Yes, Josh?
Henry James.
That's correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each, 10 points for both. Identify the following 19th century artists. This first was born in the Netherlands. This man took his life at age 37. The second, his two most famous statues are the Kiss and the Thinker, for 4 points each or 10 points for both. Identify the following 19th century artists. Number one was born in the Netherlands. This man took his life at age 37. Number two, his two most famous statues are the Kiss and the Thinker.
One is Van Gogh, two is Rodin.
That's correct. You need pencils for this toss-up. What is the value of B in this equation? 0.15B plus 7 equals 0.5B. And B is 20. Toss-up. What type of chemical reaction releases energy? Matt?
Exothermic?
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. Who is the early Latin scholar who produced the most elegant and complete book on the art of oratory, and what Roman writer's influence shows through in his work? For 4 points each or 10 points for both. Who is the early Latin scholar who produced the most elegant and complete book on the art of oratory, and what Roman writer's influence shows through in his work?
Cicero and Virgil. Cicero.
No. Episcopal.
We have Machiavelli for the second, Petrarch for the first.
Quintilian for the first, Cicero for the second. No points. Toss up. What is the international trading term for placing limitations on the number of goods imported? Doug?
Sanction?
No. Mandarin? Josh?
Quota?
Quota is correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. Of the scientists Max Planck, Wolfgang Pauli, Albert Einstein, and Werner Heisenberg, which one stated the following principle? Number one, no two electrons in the same atom can have the same 4 quantum numbers. And number two, we cannot measure position and momentum simultaneously with arbitrary precision. For 4 points each or 10 points for both.
We have an answer, Pauli and Heisenberg.
That's correct. Toss up. What do we call a mocking imitation of the style of a literary work? Ben?
Satire?
No. 2-point penalty. I'll repeat for Mandarin. What do we call a mocking imitation of the style of a literary work, ridiculing the stylistic habits of an author by exaggerated mimicry? Josh?
Hyperbole?
Parody. You need your pencils for this toss-up. In terms of pi, what is the area of a circle which has a circumference of 28 pi? (196 pi). Toss up. What word is used to describe two liquids that are mutually soluble in each other? Zach?
Miscible?
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. What are the two broad categories into which modern plants can be classified? For 4 points each or 10 points for both. What are the two broad categories into which modern plants can be classified?
Herbaceous and woody?
No. Episcopal.
Vascular and non-vascular?
That's what we're looking for. 10 points. Toss up. Which amendment to the Constitution abolished slavery? Josh?
13th.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, 10 points for both. Identify first the poet, and second the title of the poem in which these lines appear. The Naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. For 4 points each or 10 points for both. Identify the poet and the title of the poem in which these lines appear. The Naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome.
Thomas Hardy, The Dynasts.
No. Episcopal.
Okay, we Petrarch and no answer.
That is Edgar Allan Poe's To Helen. No points. Toss up. Who was the co-author of Evita and the author of the award-winning musical Cats? Josh?
Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Answer these questions about the country of Bulgaria. Number 1, what is the capital of Bulgaria? Number 2, what sea borders Bulgaria on the east? For 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Answer these questions about
Excuse me, Sophia and the Black Sea.
Correct. Toss up. Who wrote the poem Out of the Cradle Endless? Josh?
Whitman.
Yes. Bonus is worth 10 points. Find the positive number whose square is 21 more than 4 times the number. For 10 points, find the positive number whose square is 21 more than times the number.
7.
Correct, 10 points. Pencils for this toss-up. The sum of 3 consecutive integers is 129. What are the numbers? Brian?
42, 43.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, 10 points for both. Answer the following questions about breeding. Number 1, what is the breeding of animals or plants to produce certain desired traits called? And second, what is the crossing of parents that have a similar genotype called? For 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Answer the questions about breeding. Number 1, what is the breeding of animals or plants to produce certain desired traits called? And second, what is the crossing of parents that have a similar genotype called?
Fostered breeding for both.
No. Episcopal.
Hybridization for both.
Selective breeding for the first, inbreeding for the second. No points. Toss up. Is the nucleic acid whose nucleotides contain the sugar ribose? Doug.
DNA.
No. Mandarin.
RNA.
Matt. RNA is correct. The bonus is worth 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Who wrote the following sonnet sequences or collections? Number 1, Amaretti. Number 2, Sonnets of the Portuguese. Number 3, Astrophel and Stella, House of Life. For 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4, who wrote the following sonnet sequences or collections? Number 1, Amaretti. Number 2, Sonnets of the Portuguese. Number 3, Astrophel and Stella. And finally, the House of Life.
1 is Spencer, 2 is Elizabeth Barrett Browning. And Shakespeare for the other 2.
The first 2 are correct. Episcopal 3 and 4.
Petrarch for those 2.
Sir Philip Sidney for 3, and Dante Gabriel Rossetti for number 4. 4 points Mandarin. Toss-up. Nagasaki and Kumamoto are major cities on Japan's second most populous island. Name this island. Zach?
Kyushu.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Number 1, identify the popular name for Salome's dance before Herod in the opera Salome. And second, name the composer. For 4 points each, or 10 points for both. Identify the popular name for Salome's dance before Herod in the opera Salome. And second, name the composer.
2 is Rossini, and 1 is the Dance Macabre.
No. Episcopal.
Dance of the Seven Veils. And Bizet.
Richard Strauss is the composer, but Dance of the Seven Veils is correct for 4 points. Toss up. What art term refers to the measure of the brilliant purity of a color? Zach?
Intensity.
Yes. The bonus is worth 2 points each, 10 points for all 4. Name the city and the state where the National Scientific Laboratory is located. Give its original name when it was first founded in 1943, and name the first project completed there. For 2 points each, 10 points for all 4. Name the city and the state where the National Scientific Laboratory is located. Give its original name when it was founded in 1943, and name the first project completed there.
One is Los Alamos, 2 is New Mexico, 4 is the Manhattan Project. 3 is Area 51.
No, Area 51 won't work, but the other 3 will. Episcopal.
No answer.
The Atomic Research Laboratory was the original title, but that's 6 points Mandarin. Toss up. Name the woman to whom the 17th century poet Richard Lovelace wrote poems of going beyond on the seas and of going to the wars. Doug?
Eleanor.
No. Mandarin? Josh?
Elizabeth.
Lucasta. Pencils for this toss-up. What is the solution inequality y squared is less than 81? Brian?
-9 is less than or equal to x is less than or equal to 9.
That's correct. Bonus is worth 10 points. The altitude to the hypotenuse of a right triangle divides the hypotenuse segments of lengths 16 and 20. What is the length of the altitude in simplest form? For 10 points, the altitude to the hypotenuse of a right triangle divides the hypotenuse into segments of lengths 16 and 20. What is the length of the altitude in simplest form?
Six.
No. Episcopal.
12.
8 radical 5. No points. Toss up. That's the... Let's check the score. Mandarin has 96 points. Episcopal has 14 points. We adjusted the score. The answer to the last toss-up was incorrect. Both teams have elected to substitute. For Mandarin, we have Jason Sheridan and John Scheel. For Episcopal, Darren Vroon. The rules remain the same in round 2, so let's continue. What is the process by which glucose is converted? Ben?
Glycolysis.
Yes. The bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 points for both. Identify first the playwright, and second the play in which a ship's stoker attempts to prove himself better than an animal and defeated is crushed by an ape in the zoo. For 4 points each or 10 points for both. Identify first the playwright, second the play in which a ship's stoker attempts to prove himself better than an animal and defeated is crushed by an ape in the zoo.
Okay, it was a Showboat by Ferber.
No. Mandarin.
Zoo Station by Albee.
Eugene O'Neill, the Hairy Ape. No points. Toss up. The Union victory at what city gave the Federal Army control of the entire Mississippi? Josh?
Vicksburg.
Yes. The bonus is worth 2 points each, 10 points for all four. Identify the following French kings. The first became a saint after his death in 1210. The second defeated King John of England in 1214. The third was the first of the Carolingian mayors of the palace to be given the title of king. And the fourth was the first of the Capetian. For 2 points each, 10 points for all four. Identify the following French kings. Number 1 became a saint after his death in 1210. Number 2 defeated King John of England in 1214. Number 3 was the first of the Carolingian mayors of the palace to be given the title of king. And number 4 was the first of the Capetian.
Three is Pepin, 4 is Hugh Capet, and the others are Henry II.
Third and fourth are correct. Episcopal?
Louis the Pious for the first. And Henry II.
No, Louis the Ninth first and Philip the second for the second, so it's 4 points Mandarin. Toss up. Name the expatriate American poet who wrote a series of cantos. Wild. Josh?
Ezra Pound.
Yes. The bonus is worth 10 points. Find the solution set for the following equation over the interval from 0 to 2 pi, including 0. 4 sine squared x minus 1 equals 0. For 10 points, find the solution set for the following equation over the interval from 0 to 2 pi, including 0. 4 sine squared x minus 1 equals 0.
Pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, 11 pi over 6, and 7 pi over 6.
That's it. 10 points. Toss up. Keep those pencils. The positive square root of 175 is between what two integers? Zach?
13 and 14?
Yes. Both 4 points each, 10 points for both. What term is used for, first, the separation between an object and a point of reference, and second, the separation between two objects? For 4 points each or 10 points for both, what term is used for, 1, the separation between an object and a point of reference, and 2, between two objects?
One is displacement, 2 is distance.
Distance is correct for the second. Episcopal the first. Position is what we were looking for the first. 4 points Mandarin. Pencils again. What is the logarithm to the base 1/3 of 27? Ben?
-3.
Yes. Bonus is worth 4 each, 10 points for both. 3 sisters, Charlotte, Anne, and Emily, all published their first novels under a pseudonym. Number 1, what was their real last name? And number 2, what last name did they use for their pseudonym? For 4 points each or 10 points for both. 3 sisters, Charlotte, Anne, and Emily, all published their first novel pseudonym. What was their real last name and what last name did they use for their pseudonym?
Bronte and Bell.
Correct, 10 points. Toss up. What is the smallest unit of life capable of carrying out all the functions of living things? Josh?
The cell.
Yes. Bonus is worth 4 points each or 10 both. Identify the following ancient Egyptian rulers. Number 1, the ruler famous primarily for his richly furnished tomb found in 1922. And the second, known as the Napoleon of Egypt, through warfare, he greatly extended the area of Egyptian dominance. For 4 points each or 10 points for both, identify the following ancient Egyptian rulers. Number 1 is the ruler famous primarily for his richly furnished tomb found in 1922. And the second, known as the Napoleon of Egypt, through warfare, he greatly extended the area of Egyptian dominance.
One is Tutankhamun. 2 is Ramses II.
Ramses is incorrect, Episcopal.
Ramses the First.
Tutmosis III. First one is correct for 4 points, Mandarin. Toss-up. What separates Iran from the Arabian Peninsula? Patrick?
The Persian Gulf.
Yes, the bonus is worth 10 points. 2 dice are rolled. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers is 4, or one or both of the numbers are 5? For 10 points, 2 dice are rolled. What is the probability that the sum of the numbers is 4, or one or both of the numbers are 5?
Five and 36.
No. Mandarin?
3/25.
7/18. Toss up. An oboe, known as a cor anglais, is commonly called what? Patrick?
A fife.
No. Mandarin? Cor anglais, an English horn. Toss up. Name the poet who ended a poem with these lines. And since to look at things in bloom, 50 springs are little room. About the woodlands I will go to see the cherry hung with snow. Ben?
Frost.
No. Mandarin. Those are the lines of A.E. Hausman. Pencils again. Solve this equation over the set of rational numbers. Y squared equals 2. Josh?
Plus or minus the square root of 2.
No. Episcopal. Patrick?
No solution.
No solution. Rational numbers. That is correct. The bonus is worth 4 points each, 10 points for both. Number 1 in the formula, F equals GM sub 1 M sub 2 divided by R squared. What does G denote? And second, what is its value in this room? For 4 points each or 10 points for both. In the formula, F equals GM sub 1 M sub 2 divided by R squared. What does G denote? And what is its value in this room?
We have the universal gravitational constant for the first and 6.67 times 10 to the negative 11th for the second.
So do we. 10 points. Toss up. What is the name of the disorder caused by trisomy on Doug?
Down syndrome.
That's correct. The bonus is worth 2 points each, or 10 points for all 4. Name the hero of the Shakespearean play in which each of the heroines appear. Number 1, Ophelia. Number 2, Cressida. Number 3, Cleopatra. And number 4, Juliet. For 2 points each, 10 points for all 4. Name the hero of the Shakespearean play in which each of the heroines appear. Ophelia, Cressida, Cleopatra, Juliet.
We have Hamlet, Troilus, Mark Antony, and Romeo.
Judge? Okay, I need the second
It's
one.
Troilus.
Troilus, yes. 6 points Episcopal, 2 points Mandarin. Toss-up. The Earth's tectonic plates grow in the middle and disintegrate at the edges. What is the technical name for the area of disintegration? Ben?
Fault line.
No. 2-point penalty. I'll repeat for Mandarin. The Earth's tectonic plates grow in the middle and disintegrate at the edges. What is the technical name for the area of disintegration where one plate slides under another? Zach?
Rift.
No, subduction zone. No points. Tossed up. Developed in Italy, this 20th century painting style emphasized the machine-like quality of modern living. Patrick?
Futurism.
Yes. The bonus is worth 2 points each, 10 points for all 4. Identify the following. Number 1, Charlemagne's surviving son and successor. Numbers 2, 3, and 4, the names of Charlemagne's 3 grandsons, who divided Charlemagne's empire into 3 parts. For 2 points each, 10 points for all 4. Identify the following. Number 1, Charlemagne's surviving son and successor. And for 2, 3, and 4, the names of Charlemagne's 3 grandsons, who divided Charlemagne's empire into 3 parts.
We have Harold for the first, Charles for the second, Pepin,
Judge? No. Mandarin?
Pepin. No answer, never mind.
Oh. Louis the Pious for the first, and the other three are Lothair, Louis the German, and Charles the Bold for no points. Toss up. That's the end of the second round. Let's take another look at the score. Mandarin has 138 points. Episcopal has 64 points. Mandarin has elected to return to their starting lineup. It's time now for our lightning round. That's a series of toss-up questions worth 4 points if answered correctly. 4 points for the opposing team if answered incorrectly. The round lasts either 2 minutes or 25 questions, whichever comes first. Here we go. Compounds that differ in arrangement of atoms but have the same molecular formula. Doug?
Isomers.
Yes. What are the colorful appendages of a flower called? Patrick?
petals,
Yes. If angle R and angle T are supplementary, what is the... Josh?
180 degrees.
Yes. Who was the first king of Israel? Darren?
David.
Saul. Name the first American novel to sell over 1 million copies. Josh?
The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn.
Uncle Tom's Cabin. What is the wearing away of land and topsoil? Josh?
Erosion.
Yes. What do we call the reflection of a geometric figure? Josh?
It's inverse.
No, image. What was the name applied to groups of 18th century British women who met to discuss intellectual... Doug? No, blue stocking. James Whitcomb Riley was sometimes known as the... Josh?
The Hoosier poet.
And in what state was he born? The answer is Indiana, so that's incorrect. What are waves of muscular contractions that move food through the digestive... Doug?
Peristalsis.
Yes. What is the log to the base 10 of 1 million? Ben?
6.
Yes. What is the auditing authority of the U.S. Congress? Josh?
The Congressional Budget Office.
No, Congressional Accounting Office. What was Stella's last name in a streetcar named Brian?
Dubois.
Kowalski. What cells are also known as erythrocytes? Patrick?
Red blood cells.
Yes. What do we call a set of points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed... Ben?
Circle.
Parabola. Who was the U.S. naval commander who led the successful campaigns in the Pacific Theater in World War II? Doug?
Arthur. MacArthur.
No. Halsey or Nimitz. Name the pamphlet by Thomas Paine which advocates... Zach?
Common sense.
Yes. What biological term indicates a group of tissues arranged into a function? Ben?
Organ.
Yes. What is 1/4 divided by 1/8? Josh?
1/2.
2. The McCarran Act, or the Internal Security Act of 1950, was aimed at protecting the government. Josh?
The Communists.
Yes. What kind of... That's the end of our lightning round. Let's take a look at today's final score. Mandarin has 170 points. Episcopal has 112 points. So the winner of our 96-97 Brain Brawl competition is Mandarin High School. Here to present trophies to both the teams, starting with Episcopal High School, is Mr. Maurice P. Schumann, who is General Director of Special Programs. Mr. Schumann.
Thank you, Tom. On behalf of the Superintendent of Schools and the Duval County School Board, I'd first like to thank you, Tom, for being so supportive of our program this year, and I think we had an outstanding season. It was really terrific. Tom, I'd like to first award to the runner-up school, Episcopal High School, their runner-up trophy, if you hold it.
Mr. Schumann now presents the trophy to the team captain, Ben Carter. And let's review the members of the Episcopal team one more time. First, we have Beth Fieser, Patrick Horton, the team captain, Ben Carter, and Doug Weinstein. Directly behind Doug is Darren Vroon, Ben Borns, Katie Nichols, and the team coaches, Brenda Vermillion and Carol Daraskovich. Congratulations to Episcopal High School. And now, Mr. Schumann, I present to you our victorious team, Mandarin High School.
Well, Tom, it's great to have the Mandarin High School team win this. And before I give the trophy, I'd like to congratulate all the coaches this year from all the teams, but especially the coach from Mandarin and the principals of all the schools for being so supportive of our teams. Tom, to Mandarin High School, the outstanding trophy.
Mr. Schumann presents the trophy to team captain Josh Wills. And let's take one more look at the team from Mandarin High School. We have Matt Shaver, Zach Vickery, team captain Josh Wills, and Brian Miklos. Behind Brian is John Scheel and Jason Sheridan. The team coaches David Debs, Andy Scudder, and the principal of Mandarin High School, Dr. Dalton Epting, presenting Mandarin High School. It's been a wonderful season, and we hope that you'll stay tuned because the Junior Varsity Brain Brawl will be coming up very soon. Until then, I'm Tom Welsh. Thanks a lot for joining us. And remember, in Duval County, education is a family affair.